Hello Fox Pack, and now welcome to actually something that's kind of different. It's going to be a first on my channel, and it's most likely going to be the last, considering this is going to be held up, or not held to upload, but held to edit, which is that this is a review. I'm doing a review of Five Nights at Candy's 3, but yeah. Let's jump right in. So first, I'm gonna go over the pros and cons of the game, like basically like what's the good things about it, and then like what's its flaws, and generally like what do I think of it. So I think it's a great game. I like the fact that it's kind of like a mixture between Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and the fact of there's only like there's like it starts out with only one animatronic, but eventually Cat comes in and kind of ruins that aspect. And Five Nights at Freddy's 4 and the fact that you use a flashlight, but it kind of merges the two in the fact that in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 you can't move, while in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, technically speaking, you still can. Anyway, sorry if I get quiet at some points. My voice is going. I'll like have some gameplay going for you guys, or possibly even some of the story. I won't be reading it out, sadly. This is post commentary. Obviously, it's a review. I have literally like hours of footage, and I'm only gonna be taking snips of them for like maybe 20 minutes, maybe more of a review. Anyway, I think the game's great. I love the graphics. I love all the YouTuber references like Smike, Razbowski, Dawko, the Scribblenetty drawing on the floor, the living tombstone pony on like the shelf, the Markiplier doll on the shelf, the Jacksepticeye like wind chime hanging thing. Yeah, I love all those things. They're just really cool references. As for like the pros of the game, I really love the fact that like even if you're in a tight spot, like say you've gotten to night 3 and onward where the cat is now coming, even when like you have to like shoo Rat away with like aiming the flashlight at him when he's at either side of your bed. If you aim the flashlight at him and Cat's not on that side, or like you have to like aim the flashlight underneath to like see which side Rat's at. If Rat's at the opposite side, and Cat's at the side that Rat's at, and you have to look away, then once Rat pops up, and you shine it over, even if it doesn't immediately contact with Cat, then once the clip plays, you'll be allowed to shine it on him. In fact, I believe it actually counts as shining it on him even during the clip if he's close enough. But I don't know. I may be wrong on that. Let's see here. I like the mini games. I love the graphics. The graphics are much better. I'm not really a stickler for graphics though. I love retro games. I love the mini games. The Dreamscape, or not the Dreamscape, though the Dreamscape is just before it. The Deepscape, the upper level, I guess technically speaking, of the Dreamscape is a really like cool idea, I guess, on paper and in action, but it is kind of like, I guess you can say it is kind of like intense. Like, maybe, I don't know. I don't really know what I mean. I guess you can say I mean that, like, perhaps giving Cat, like, a timer, like, making Cat a timer to instant death isn't exactly, like, the best idea to come up with. But instead, like, making it to where Cat automatically is constantly charging at you whether or not you're on the particle path. Perhaps that would have been a better idea than to just have him an egg timer for instant death. Regardless, I still think it's great. I feel like the thing with the rock and like the misleading path thing, like the misleading path, is a bit too cryptic, mainly because when I was actually doing that and like the guy wouldn't keep appearing even when I like put in numbers that I knew was around it or was it, I would actually be confused as to why the thing wasn't appearing or the guy wasn't appearing or whatever. And for some reason, maybe I was going to the platform that the game cartridge was on, and because I didn't like delete everything and then start it from the beginning, maybe that's why I couldn't. Maybe like I was going to a game cartridge location, and that's why it wasn't being found. But who knows? Anyway, where to go from here? I guess I can mention that about I guess I can move on. Yeah, I guess it's a good time to segue into that of what's next, which is that of the endings. I guess I'll start with that of the regular ending of the game. Or actually, no. I'll start with the gameplay itself. The gameplay itself I find very good, though I'll talk about the other part of it that I want to say here in a moment. The concept of flashing the animatronics, like whether it's cat or rat, really great. Even though you don't want to flash him under the bed, you just want to check which side he's on, and then not be looking at that side. Regardless, what was I saying? I said regardless. I lost my train of thought. Damn it. Man, this can't be happening during a review. I didn't write down a script for this. Terrible review. This is going just like my mod review did. Anyway, what I mean is that the concept is great, but like for both rat and cat, but I feel like with Louie, or not Louie, god. I always call it Louie, even though it's Vinny. I think I call him Louie because maybe like his puppet master is called Louie. I'm not sure about that. I don't know, but Vinny, the basically the puppet equivalent, or rather just the actual puppet of the Candies games. I feel like during the final night where Vinny shows up and is the only thing that torments you, I feel like during that it kind of got a bit too hard, like it was a bit too insane, because you can like be shining it on him as much as possible when he's doing like his whole circle thing, and like even when he stays in one spot, shining it on him as much as possible, and like sometimes he'll still kill you right out of the gate. And like I don't know, it just seems like it's too hard sometimes, but I mean it's definitely possible. Like I don't know, maybe just like, I mean, Emil Mako, if for some reason you're watching, you beautiful game dev of you, if you are watching, then I love your games, by the way. But like I was saying, if you are watching, then perhaps, just in my personal opinion, make Vinny like move around a lot less, or not a lot less, but a little less, just to make it a slightly easier. Because I feel like even though it is the final night, technically speaking, that Vinny should move around a bit less, because he moves around way too much. So like the win death ratio is way too overscaled. But yeah, unless you're like really pro, which I'm not. I'm no pro at this game. I just play it in my spare time whenever I get bored. Regardless, onto the I guess I can go on to the shadow challenge while I'm still on the fact of the actual gameplay itself. I like the gameplay. It's very stimulating. Sorry. I like the gameplay, very stimulating. I feel like in the Shadow Challenge, the gameplay kind of fell even more apart than it did with Vinny, because in every other part of the game, like even during Vinny, you can use the tape player pretty effectively. Like pretty effectively to move the knight forward. But if you're doing the Shadow Challenge, it feels like you can't really use the tape player at all, or else you'll actually mess yourself up from progressing. Like, you'll progress the knight, but you'll actually mess yourself up from beating the knight is what I mean. Because, like, even though it'll, like, make you, like, be able to move the knight faster, I don't know. You guys get what I mean, but basically what I'm trying to say is that while it moves the knight faster, it'll be a lot easier to just like protect yourself from the shadow animatronic or shadow rat, because from my experience in actually recording this, because I never beat the Shadow Challenge. In fact, I was actually thinking while I was doing the Shadow Challenge and recording this that I was actually terrified that I'd get another star from beating it. And or at least I don't think I've beaten the Shadow Challenge. If I have, then I'm sorry for forgetting. But I don't think I've beaten the Shadow Challenge, and when I did beat it, yeah, basically just what I said. But yeah, there actually, now that I think about it, there's nothing more to say there, aside from the fact that the tape player like kind of loses functionality with Shadow Rat, because he basically comes at the doors, especially when he starts getting more aggressive with them, like every 2 seconds. So he barely gives you enough time to press the play button after it's done rewinding, let alone hit stop and then rewind. But yeah. Anyway, onto that of the endings. Now that I have all of the regular gameplay out of the way, I guess aside from that of the dreamscape. Anyway, moving on to that of the regular, onto that of the regular game, or regular ending, called that of the truth ending. Even though it should just be the one that says the end. In fact, that's not the one that says the end. Anyway, the truth ending is just actually, like I said, the regular ending of the game. And basically, you just play through the game all 5 nights. You don't have to do anything special whatsoever. Just play through the game. It's honestly pretty good. I like it. It's just lore giving. It's giving lore. I kind of like the concept of getting the paper clips and stuff, as well as getting the like finding the toys in the Deepscape, and like doing the mini games for Peppermint or Lolly or whatever his name is, that you encounter later for the ultimate ending, which was the absolute hellest of hells for me. Absolute hellest of hells when I was doing my regular Let's Play. If you want to check out all of that stuff, because I won't be like I'll be including the mini games later on in this thing. Like, I'll be including clips of them, but I won't be including like long clips of them. Then go ahead and watch like an actual, like my actual Let's Play of the series. I have it on my channel already. Just like search for it on my channel. I should have a playlist of it. If I don't have a playlist of Five Nights at Candy's 3 specifically, just go into my Five Nights at Candy's playlist and go in there. It should be in there. Anyway, um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was talking about the truth ending and diversion to the toys. Now we're talking about the truth ending. I still find it pretty good. Now we're going into that of the ending that shows the final night, or that is, yeah, that's shown during the final night. Mary, um, is like comes out after like she witnessed the whole murder and stuff, and goes and finds her father, because you know. And by the way, Emil Mako, again, if you're watching this, you beautiful game designer. I like how instead of like pulling Scott Cawthon's, where you just like make the timeline go in a bunch of random directions, you just like keep taking steps back. Like literally just keep taking steps backwards instead of like going in all random directions, because of the fact that in the first Five Nights at Candy's, we were in 1987, and then in Five Nights at Candy's 2, we were in like when the new animatronics were made, and I believe it was like the late 1960s. It was either late 1960s or it was like in the 1970s, one of the two. I don't know, either that or it was the early 1930s. I don't know. Or not early 1930s. Early 1980s. One of those three. And in this one, you play as Mary Schmidt. That is, I imagine, a fan version of Michael's sister, or Mike's sister, Michael, or Mike's sister, Mike Schmidt, Mary Schmidt. I can't talk. I don't know how to English. Anyway, something stuck in my throat. Anyway. Yeah, you play as Mary as a little girl, because, you know, in the first game she was an adult, in the second game she was a teenager being forced to stay at a factory against her will, and in the third game she is a little girl being traumatized by nightmares and actual murders, because, you know, that makes perfect sense. But, I mean, that just happens every day for me. Anyway, sarcasm aside and making fun of the game story aside, I honestly do like the story of this game, and I honestly do like the story of Five Nights at Candy's. But yeah, onto that of the forgotten ending. Now, this is actually the ending that I get from the gameplay you're probably seeing right in front of your face. Because you might notice that I keep knocking down or the origami cat. If I've actually been through 2 nights already, I can see by my time I've only been through 18 minutes and 30 seconds, and I take a lot of time exploring stuff. So yeah. Regardless, if I've actually been through 2 nights so far, like I've already gotten to night 2, then I've most likely knocked down origami cat so far. Or already. But yeah, how to get the forgotten ending, since it's so easy and much easier to get than that of the truth ending in comparison to beating Vinny or just beating the game over again, is that of where basically you can just you can do this even, I believe, even before playing or before beating the game the first time ever, and that is just that on night 1 and onwards, you knock origami cat off the table by clicking it, and then every night after there up until 4, or up at 4, knock it off, and then once you start night 5, if you try and go into the Deepscape area, your game should crash, At least it should. It's either if you, yeah, try and go into the deepscape, and your game should crash. At least I hope it's supposed to crash, and my game just didn't break on me. Regardless, once that happens, your game should reopen, or if it doesn't reopen, just reopen it yourself. And with that, click on continue night 5 again, and you should actually load into the room without Origami Cat in there, and without any access to the deepscape, and then go to sleep. And once you do, you'll be taken to a pitch black screen with or a pitch black screen. You'll be taken to a screen with nothing but Origami Cat there, and then Origami Cat will start talking to you, telling you about how you wanted, about why it wonders why you wanted it to forget about it, even though it's the only memory you have left, or you had left, of your mother, or Mary's mother, whatever. And how now that it's an unwanted memory, it's been turned into a nightmare, and how it's kept, and now it's gonna keep you awake. But yeah, now but yeah, that's how you get the forgotten ending, is just clicking Origami Cat off the until it falls off the table on each of 1 to 4 nights. I mean. Anyway, on to, I believe that's 3 endings. Now it's time for that of the ultimate ending. So you need to beat the game so there's 3 endings that require so there's 4 endings to the game, but 3 of them require you playing through the game. That being the truth ending, which you need to get in order to unlock access to some other endings. That being, more specifically, being the final night ending. There's the end ending that you get from the final night. There's the forgotten ending, which you have to play through the game again. Oh, excuse me, I just burped into my mic. And then there is the ultimate ending, which if you didn't do it while going through the game the first time, you have to play through the game again. Which, like me when doing my Let's Play, I had to play through the game again in order to do it, because of the fact that I didn't do it while I was doing it, because I didn't even know of its existence. So yeah, hooray me, right? But regardless, yeah. In the ultimate ending, you have to find the toys, that of a race car, a rocking horse. I believe the next one is that of a, I can't remember. Race car, rocking horse. Oh, a duck. Oh, like a little. I don't really know exactly what it is. It's literally just a duck. And no, I'm not cursing. I mean like an actual duck that walks around. A little toy robot, maybe a winding robot, and a tea set, or a tea kettle, more rather. You gotta find those 5 specific toys, and whenever you find them, you have to find them each time you enter the deepscape. So basically, like when you start a night, you gotta find the toy race car on night 1, and basically when you're going to find the tape player, you gotta find him in the deepscape. Then he's real easy to find. I believe when you need to like go up to get the tape player, there's also a path that goes to the right, and basically that path that goes to the right leads to that of the toy car. And once you talk to him, his last dialogue box, and then everything he says after that, if you try talking to him numerous times, he'll say, if you have anything to say, say it now. You need to press a button for that. Sadly, I don't know which button that is. You will have to look it up for that of yourself. Sorry, I don't remember which button it is. I think it's like P or L or O or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Something like that. I think. Maybe it's Q. I'm not sure. Just experiment with buttons on that until you get it. Just make sure you're looking at which button it is, because you have to actually do that with each of the toys you encounter. And then you gotta find the rocking horse on night 2's Deepscape. I can't really remember where the rocking horse was, but maybe I will include clips of like where they are. I believe the rocking horse is also found somewhere on a broken path to the right in the Deepscape. But yeah, that's where the rocking horse is found. And so yeah, onto that of the duck. All of these like say stuff like about how they thought they were forgotten and such, but it turns out that they're not. They're being remembered and all that stuff. And then yeah. But once you hit that button, I believe it either instantly takes you to that of a mini game, or they talk a bit and then it takes you to that of a mini game where you're for the race car, you are racing against Peppermint or Lollipop, whatever his name is. Where you're racing against him, and believe it or not, this is one of the cons of the game, by the way. This game, obviously no sort of like game that's meant for driving controls, because literally, no joke, when I was recording basically the Ultimate Endings games footage, when I was recording the mini games footage for those, because you can actually visit Peppermint and get the mini games footage if you want. I spent 20 minutes just trying to actually exit the stage without crashing my game. Because if you try and exit the stage by hitting escape, you'll just get jump scared by Peppermint, because he's like, I don't know, mad at you that you want to leave without permission, I guess. But yeah. Anyway. For the race car, it is a race in which you need to beat Peppermint, in which he is way too good at this, and you gotta adapt to the game's sadly crappy controls in that part. Though the rest of the controls isn't too much better because of the fact that it's not really typically controlling anything. Regardless, the next is that of the rocking horses minigame, where Peppermint or Lollipop again, I'm not sure. Peppermint is all the way at the right side of the screen, and the rocking horse is trying to catch up with him. Assumably you're like in or attached. I think you just turn into like these beans each time you do the minigame. Regardless, the rocking horse, or just horse in this case, since it doesn't have any lower like parts to it, is trying to catch up with Peppermint, and slowly but surely, Peppermint will like inch towards you, like slowly slow down, and either that or you're catching up. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell, but regardless, he will drop like cactuses. I think they're cactuses because the ground that you're on does look kind of sandy, so I hope that's what Emil Mako was going for. If it's not, then I don't know, correct me or something. But anyway, Peppermint will drop cactuses, and as he does, if you land on them, you die. So basically, you have to make the horse jump over, and then eventually, once Peppermint is close enough, the chase will stop and you will win. Yay! I'm clapping. I'm not sure if you can hear it. For that of the ducks is basically a quite literal game of Frogger. You got to go through 3 sections of Frogger. In the first screen, actually, you just got to get off that screen, and then you got to go through probably the hardest part, in all honesty. Or actually, no. Or yes? No? Yeah, I think so. I believe it's the trains. Cause like the trains, I believe at most only ever have like 3 spaces that you can stand on in between them. If it's not the trains first, I'm very sorry. That I got it mixed up. But I believe it goes trains, cars, and then logs on a river. And basically, if you get hit by a train, you die and go all the way back to the beginning. If you get hit by a car, you die and go all the way back to the beginning. And if you fall off a log, you die and go all the way back to the beginning. So have fun catching Peppermint. It's honestly not that hard, nor is the horse game. Honestly, it's mainly that one and one other one that I will mention that are super hard. But yeah, once you get the hang of doing Frogger, basically, if you don't know what Frogger is, it's a classic. Look it up, I guess. But yeah, once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to do it. Regardless, the next one is that of a spaceship from the robot for some reason. I don't know why it wouldn't be a spaceship toy if it's that of a... Like why not have a spaceship toy for a spaceship minigame? Anyway, I won't question it. On to the explaining part. In this, it's literally just Space Invaders. Again, a classic. It shouldn't need explained, but I will explain it anyway. The whole basically the whole top part of the screen has a bunch of aliens coming down coming down onto it, and basically you got to shoot them all with, I believe it's spacebar if I remember correctly. And for each one you kill, I believe they shoot slightly faster. But it's only the bottom and middle two that shoot faster, or that actually shoot. I believe the top ones don't shoot at all. If I'm wrong about that, then please correct me. But yeah, the sad thing is that if you get hit once during that minigame, your entire progress gets reset, which really sucks because once they're like shooting much faster, it's really hard not to get hit, especially if you have very few left. Anyway, but yeah, that's the Space Invaders one, or the robots one. And next is probably what, in my opinion, is debatably the hardest, depending on how your stand is on the car one. Honestly, I'm on the fence personally between which one's the hardest, whether it's the car one or the tea kettle one. But in this one, you actually play as a cup, or at least you control a cup. I'm not sure if you actually are the cup, but you control a cup on a saucer and you move it back and forth as Peppermint floats above and drops 1 drop of tea at a time into the cup. But he doesn't drop it right into the tea, or right into the cup. And unless this tea is red, he's dropping blood into the cup, by the way. But yeah, he drops 1 drop at a time, and he does it at random spurts, but he does get progressively faster with it. And the thing is that the cup is actually quite slidey in its controls, which is occasionally good, but also occasionally bad. Now, unlike most of the other games, or most of the other games, like the horse one, the duck one, the Space Invaders one, basically 3 out of the 4, because in the 3 out of the 4 where you can die. Actually, no, because technically in the car one, you die after you lose the race, or basically you get reset. So yeah, the 1 out of the 5 that allows you to technically get quote unquote hit multiple times is that of this one, the tea kettle minigame, which is where as Peppermint drops them, you can miss 2 drops. Miss 3 drops and he will be like, no, there's not enough tea left. You gotta catch all of them. It's like Pokemon. But yeah, if you miss 3 drops, you will have to restart your progress. You can miss 1 drop and you can miss 2. But that's it. In fact, I actually believe that in my recording of the ultimate minigame of the tea kettle, I actually get the last drop based out of luck of the cup slidiness. But yeah. Anyway, as for Peppermint himself, I kind of find him creepy. Like, it looks like Balloon Boy was turned into a peppermint and given a much creepier smile. I'm not even sure if his name's Peppermint. Maybe his name's Lollipop. I forget. But yeah, I'm seeing that that this is now reaching about just over 37 minutes, so that'll definitely give some time, possibly, depending on the snidbits I take, for that of a ending. Well, actually, I'm gonna take snidbits of just like parts of the game, so I can just take out snidbits of the endings. Regardless, anyway, I think that has been enough for this review. So, in terms of what I'd give it out of 10, I'd say that its cons, it doesn't have too many. I mean, I'd say its cons, maybe not have the cup, or like its cons, maybe not have Vinny as moving, have the shadow animatronic not like distort the tape player as much. As for, oh yeah, I almost forgot. I'm glad I took a minute to recap, because I almost forgot about them. There's one more thing I need to talk about, and they're about more minigames. The arcade more specifically. So throughout the Deepscape, you can find game cartridges. One of which is Candy's Fishing, I believe it's called. The other is Cindy's Garden, and the other 3 are pieces for Candy's Adventure. Which I struggled so hard with Candy's Adventure for some reason, even though I didn't when I was playing through the game for my Let's Play, to my knowledge. And I definitely didn't casually. Regardless, in Candy's Fishing, fish are constantly being, fish and trash like socks, bottles of water, etc., are being tossed up from the sea, and you gotta catch only the fish. If you don't catch a fish, it just gets taken away by Penguin, and you get no penalty. But if you catch trash, then you lose a heart. But yeah, and catch 3 pieces of trash and you lose. Typically, I can finish that one with all 3 hearts. Cindy's Garden is actually much harder. In fact, I lost on it a few times when trying to do it in my leisure. But, yeah. Cindy's Garden. Well, it's definitely possible. Obviously, I had to beat it in my playthrough of the game. I'd say that, that it's pretty good. Like, it's basically whack-a-mole. Basically whack-a-mole. What it is that, you whack a mole with a hammer, as they come up and try and, I guess, eat. I don't know if moles even eat flowers. But they come up and try and eat your lavender-colored flowers, because how dare they, right? How dare they get a good meal? I mean, why would they steal it? But even if moles do eat flowers, why are they eating flowers that they know someone is camping outside of? And why so many moles to come and eat them? There's only 4 flower beds. I know they're regenerating flower beds, but still. Regardless. I'm saying regardless a lot. Anyway. Basically for both those two, you just gotta get over... You basically, even though the high score is 2,000, you actually just have to set, like the actual set high score is that of 2,000. You actually just gotta get over, yeah, the high score over that of 90, or over that of 9,900, which is that of, basically you gotta break it that of 10,000. And then the game will glitch out and bring you to a piece of lore of the story. I've already shown it in my Let's Play of the game, I believe. So if you want to see it, then you'll have to watch it, sadly. If you haven't already, that is. If you are watching this, then you've probably already watched that. If you haven't, then go watch it. Maybe I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description, if I actually have a playlist of it. If not, then... I'm so sorry. Anyway, the final one, and the one I struggled with the most in my recording for some reason, is that of Candy's Adventure, which is the one that took 3 pieces. And that is because, unlike the other two, it's not based like on high score. It's based on actual like skill. It's kind of like if you took Five Nights at Candy's and Mega Man, though with a limited range instead of shooting. Like instead of like shots that went all across the screen, but put a limited range on it. And you put that into a blender. And then this, and then this. And then this is what you got. Like this. Like that's what you got with it. Eh. Something in my nose. But yeah. I struggled so hard to beat it for some reason to like show the pieces of lore. And then the pieces of lore was definitely not worth the literal like 2 hours that it took to do such. Anyway, I believe that's it. Yeah, if I had to say something about those ones, like the cons of those ones, I'd say the Candy's Fishing and Cindy's I was gonna say Cindy's Adventure, Cindy's Garden, those are both pretty fine as they are. The Candy's Adventure though, now that I replayed through it, make it to where the boss doesn't like just have the ability to knock you into the lava. Basically just make it to where there's not knockback. Cause I agree with I don't know. I'm getting frustrated now, just thinking about it. But I hate any, like, even in retro games, I hate any game where if you get hit, you get knocked back. Because you can easily just fall off a ledge because of it. And that's actually the only reason why I died a few times. Like, literally, like, at least 4 of my attempts at killing the boss dog thing, whatever it is, were actually robbed purely because of that little hole to the lava, and I was being hit by the projectiles to fall in. Anyway, that's all I have to say on the matter. I'm sorry if like there was like some points in this where I was quiet, but regardless, I believe that this is a good point to stop, and like, because I have a lot of editing work in front of me. Like, I have a lot of editing work ahead of me, because I have to take tiny little snidbits of gameplay and such from the game and overlay it with my audio and hopefully make it consistent with my voice. So that'll be fun, won't it? And I have to make it timely too. So yeah. I'm not gonna have fun doing that. But anyway, I will see you later, Fox Pack.